Hello, my name is John Sveck. Welcome to this ALL24 video. Today, Coach Waterman and I have two very special guests. We have Coach Bryce Fisher and Coach Scott Brady. So thanks for being with us, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
As always, we're going to pick a random play. We're picking a play from way back in the 2016 Loney Bowl. Coach Waterman, would you do the honors of helping me pick a random play here that none of us have seen?
Sure. And stop.
Okay, let's see what we've queued up. So it's a 2nd and 7. Let's see what we have here. So it looks like the offense is backed up a little bit on the minus maybe 21, 22. 32 formation with a tight end to the field and a pistol set. Coach Brady, I'll give you first crack at this. Any thoughts come to mind when you see the initial alignment we have here?
I think the big thing here, like in terms of looking at what to expect from the defense, it's a 2nd and long, so probably like a good amount of pre-snap movement or trying to dictate a certain protection up front. 2nd and 7 with, I think this was David Dean at tight end here, so you got potentially the threat of 7 men staying in protection here. And then I think this was K-On at 2 strong, who's like the best player in the league at the time, so trying to make sure you've got somebody getting hands on him and somebody over the top most of the time in passing situations here.
Coach Fisher, as I run it here a little bit, anything come to mind that you're seeing?
Well, I guess a big thing is maybe that pre-snap motion by the running back. What do you got there? I mean, he's not going anything. I mean, you can tell some keys based on just some of those things on formation-wise where those running backs are. So. And then I guess the alignment by the boundary side receivers is very bunched-ish, negative. So I would maybe be cognizant of maybe an outbreaking route by the boundary, wideout, what he does. So yeah, that's it.
A lot of bodies at the line of scrimmage. Coach Brady, pre-snap here, and it looks like a few are maybe dropping out.
Yeah, so I think this is just a 4-man rush simulated pressure here. And so this is a double A-gap blitz with our Mike and our dime. And, against half slide protection, you're trying to get one of those guys. Center's going to take one of them. The back's going to take the other one. And whoever's got the back now, if he's right in the quarterback's lap, then he can potentially bull him right into the quarterback. Or if he does a good job getting up to the line, then he's trying to flip his hips and work a move and win at the line, but trying to get a one-on-one against with one of your backers or a good rusher against kind of their worst protector, but still only bringing 4 guys.
And it kind of looks like, Coach, that you got a little bit of a hole to the field, cut to the boundary here, and with the free safety sort of tilt over to the field side here.
Field, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I think this is quarters to the field and half to the boundary here.
Yeah, okay.
The big couple things here would be this weak halfback is getting out a little bit early. And, Tavon was pretty sharp. And I think that probably helped them find that window to 2 weak. And then the other big thing is our boundary end, especially on 2nd and 7 here. He's wasting a pretty good couple steps here against a pretty clear hi-hat. So you'd like to see him get out of there a little bit sooner, pushing right to the hip at 2 weak.
What are you teaching those droppers coming from the line of scrimmage? Is it more about getting in the window of the passing window, or what exactly are you teaching there, Coach?
So they would have a specific receiver that they're dropping to. So in this case, 2 weak, and you're trying to intersect a point a yard inside his inside hip at a depth of 10 to 12 yards, depending on where the route breaks.
Honestly, I mean, this is the fun stuff about watching some of Scott's stuff is just there's so much action going on. Sometimes you don't know what's happening. And the front and the drop, I mean, this is just football at its finest, doing some crazy stuff and being very fine-tuned at it is something that's pretty cool. Obviously, I mean, as Scott said, maybe the boundary half kind of bailed a little bit too early and we're wasting steps. But I mean, that's the fun stuff about football. I mean, some of these things happen, and sometimes you're plus, sometimes you're bust. So
let's check out the tight and see what we can see from this angle.
Yeah, so this is just like double A gap replacement zone here. And so, like I said, trying to get it, sometimes you'll have the direction of the slide, but oftentimes, especially if the back's starting in a pistol like this, you don't necessarily know which way the slide is going to go. And so either way here, you're getting either 40 or 28, one-on-one with the running back kind of right in the lap of the quarterback. You hope he doesn't do a great job stepping up to the line of scrimmage, but that would be something you kind of look at during the week. And, are they going to cut you? Are they going to come up and meet you at the line? Are they going to sit really deep and you can potentially put them right in the quarterback? But I think with all these A-gap pressures, you're not necessarily trying to get a free rusher, but you're trying to get a good matchup one-on-one with their worst protector, and you're trying to do it right in the lap of the quarterback, where even if they do a good job picking it up, it's pretty difficult for the quarterback not to feel the pressure right in his face in this situation. And, kind of like this, I can't tell from the wide earlier if the throw was a little high or if it was just drop, but even just trying to affect the pass just by putting something right in the quarterback's lap here.
Yeah.
Coach Brady, how much do you adjust your pressures each week against teams versus the type of quarterback that they have in terms of his mobility or not?
Yeah, a lot. I think that would be one of the things that is probably the most different week to week. And so if it's an immobile quarterback, you're potentially okay with interior guys being contained a little bit more, and you can get a little bit crazier if you're playing a guy like a Trey Ford. You better be pretty comfortable that you've got contained to both sides, and the guy in contain is athletic enough to not necessarily run with them, because nobody will, but at least set the edge and force them up in the pocket. And then the big one there is what protection schemes are they going to run. So, a lot of teams are doing this where their primary protection would be like a 6 or 7 man half slide, but then you'll play a couple teams a year where they're mostly big on big protection. So that's going to dictate a different set of pressures for attacking those type of teams.
You got your rush here dropping to the hole, or?
Yeah, so this would be like, we call this sync. So sync is a call for both ends dropping out. And so typically the boundary end is replacing the will or the dimes drop, and the rush is replacing the mics drop. And then you can run, because of just a 4-man pressure, you can run any your base 3 deep or quarters or cover 2 concepts off of it, depending on what you like that week.
Yeah, I like it.
What are your thoughts as a DB, Coach Fisher, when it comes to pressure? That's helping you out as a DB, changing your timing a little bit. Is that something you enjoy?
Yeah, I mean, I like sending pressure from the DB core. Just it can switch some things up. You get the D ends and into some dropping. I mean, it could just create confusion, both on the offensive line. Quarterback reads might be a little bit out of whack, out of sync at that point. And then just getting the speed. I mean, the hardest thing about, especially if that is coming from the perimeter, is to teach them timing and how to maybe potentially waggle down the line of scrimmage if they time it up too early. And then just, I mean, when you coming in like a missile, like, is how to slow down properly if you don't have a clear hit on a Q or a running back. So it's all about angles. I mean, I enjoy sending it from every angle. It's just you got to have the places where you can cover that up as well. So it's a good switch up every once in a while for sure.
I think the big thing with this is just again trying to get like a free rusher, a good one-on-one matchup, and so as much as you're trying to dictate how the game is played when you're bringing pressure, you don't necessarily. If you can get a good one-on-one matchup, especially in the quarterback's face like this, without having to take everybody out of coverage, and you can still play like a base cover 3 or quarters coverage here and keep a lot of guys back to play the deep ball, then I think that stuff's pretty good.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Well, really appreciate you guys being here. It's been great talking football with you. So thanks.